2013, America as we know it is no more. The federal government has been burnt to the ground by a cult-like militia led by a published self-help guru. After suffering a coup, riots, a 3-year-long winter, and a drought, the American people have scattered to the wind, living in small communities isolated from one another with no way to communicate. It's a world where the cool teen thing to do is becoming a child soldier in the United States Postal Service, led by an out-of-work actor who absolutely butchers Shakespeare. Welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today and the past future world of Kevin Costner's The Postman.
Welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today, the podcast about movies whose future has passed. I am your host, Kyle McVeigh.
I'm your other host, Joey Reinish.
And this is an exciting day today. We have a really big episode for you for a couple reasons. First of all, because we're doing a 3-hour-long movie.
So
2
long.
VHS tapes worth of film. And we're doubling up guests, of course. We have multi-hyphenates, I would say writers, directors, producer, humans, Joey's former co-workers, his best friends.
Yeah, that's the one I made him put in there, yes.
He's trapped inside a Zoom screen against their will. We have Jenn Carroll and Gordon Smith. Hello, y'all.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Welcome in.
Yes, thank you for joining
Get out
us.
of this square. I'm trapped in this Zoom. I can't get out of this Zoom.
Yeah, you're stuck there for a while. Sorry. That's just how it's going to be. Yeah, thank you for coming and joining.
Podcast per 1 minute of screen time
Yes.
of film, right? That's
3 hours of podcasts.
We're here for the rest of the night.
Yeah,
I
we're
forgot
not-
to tell you, yes.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So when we assembled the list of movies for this season, we just kind of went through a bunch and Kyle and I each picked a handful. And then we asked you guys if you wanted to be on an episode. And there just so happened to be The Postman on there. And I had kind of forgotten Gordon's love of The Postman. Gordon, how many times have you dressed up as The Postman?
Let's see. I have dressed up as the Postman for Halloween every year since 2016.
It's one of the film and books most famous Gordons.
It's
is
true.
The Postman, though they don't say that in this movie.
In the movie,
He's credited as The Postman. So
Yes.
his first name is The in the movie, but in real life, in the book, his
Real life.
first name is Gordon. So
I did not know that. Is the book much different than the movie? Is it shorter?
I wouldn't say we've read it, but we are aware.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Which is not Shakespeare, not
Yeah.
It is. It's Gordon.
I was advised of that fact by Peter Gould, my boss, who had read the book and was
Okay.
like, Postman.
But he had not watched the movie.
He'd seen the movie. He'd seen the movie.
Oh, okay.
Super
good.
fan over there.
This is I don't know if you guys knew this. This is my first time having seen this, and my wife Kim loved this movie with her dad, and Kim notoriously falls asleep pretty much any time we watch a movie. And we started this last night at 8 p.m. and it's the first time Kim stayed awake for a movie in like months.
Wow.
Even though she's seen this
it keeps
before.
resetting. It's a movie every few minutes. and
Yeah,
so-
yeah. There's so many different movies. She's never not engaged.
Yeah, I would say by my calculation, there's at least 8 movies in this movie, I think.
Honestly, I'm going to say this is something we edged up to when we were talking before the show, but I think were it not for the fact that this movie was not as well received in its time, this would be such a perfect mini series or like ongoing.
Sure.
This is the kind of thing that now people would revisit and be like, why are we doing this in 3 hours? We should spend the time because it's weirdly like the most cram-packed 3 hours and most interminable 3 hours.
Yes.
They'll never spend because it just feels like there's so many ideas on top of each other. It gets a little exhausting.
watching it for this first time, every time I was like, man, I got to see how much time is left. There was like a full movie's length left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right
yes.
up to the last 5 minutes.
The Postman until an hour and a half in, whenever it is.
That is baffling to me because I had no idea. I thought the plot of this movie was that the Postmen were like this revered thing that you do not fuck with the Postman. And like it was like they are the only semblance of government left, kind of what they get to. But I thought that's what it always was. All the Shakespeare stuff, all like the finding a corpse of a postman and just taking a jacket. All of that, I had no idea.
He's just an out-of-work actor that bullshits his way into accidentally making a child army. Like, that's it.
He's a scam artist. Yeah.
You're thinking of the Postman 2, The War for America.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that could be a thing. That could be a deep sequel, a direct-to-DVD sequel that I've just not seen.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, Gordon, when are we getting this miniseries?
Yeah, you can just do that. Like, you were pitching that, and I was like, okay, then fucking do it. Like, what are we doing?
Listen, I'm just saying it's the kind of thing where I'm like, I think somewhat unjustifiably the movie the movie is just so ambitious. That is its primary sin. Is like it takes so many ideas and things and crap together. So, I'm not saying I can't really in all good conscience defend the movie because there are mistakes that were made, and I think everybody.
Thankfully, we're not here to defend the movie or hate on the movie or anything like that. We're just here to talk about the future.
If you love the movie, great. If you hate the movie, great. If you dress up like characters from the movie on an annual basis,
if you're the only person that does that, it's totally cool. But you brought up a good thing. That's a good segue. That this movie does have a billion ideas that it tries to hold all at the same time, and I think there's nothing more like that. There's no more evidence of that than what the event was that caused the apocalypse, because I think they say like 12 different things.
It's a cascade, and it's so when the Postman was a child, which was. Is it 15 years ago or was it more than 15 years ago?
I think it was more than 15 years ago. I believe they say that at the end of the movie, they say he was born in 1973 on the statue of the Postman.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Right. You're right. Okay. So more than 15 years ago, there was a war, a nuclear global war that led to... Cities, maybe nuclear cities fell. And then there were plagues. And the mumps, right?
Yes.
I took the chronology different. I took the chronology as there was widespread global climate catastrophe.
Okay, so I think there's climate stuff for sure.
There's the dirty snow.
There's snow.
Drought.
Poisoned water, poisoned oceans.
And they mentioned that there's good air. There's good air over Iceland or something.
Poison water, poison air does point to nuclear war, but I realize that there was a nuclear war that was precipitated by climate change and the mumps. So there was a couple of catastrophes and then a scrambling for resources that led to wars that overthrew the cities and so on and so forth.
Okay, see that I was trying to nail down the chronological order of it all, and I feel like that's the thing that makes the most sense. All that happens, then we get to this unrest where you meet Nathan Holm, who is a farmer and also a published self-help guru,
motivational
and
speaker,
basically an alt-right vlogger from
he's all things to all people.
Nathan.
He's a Jim Jones type.
Here's my favorite thing about Nathan Hole, and this is one thing that I will directly find amusing, which is just that they clearly they started with the name that they're like, what's a creepy name for a horde of people? The Wholeness.
Yes.
And then they went, who started the Wholeness? The whole. How about a guy? Would it be Nathan Hole? Nah, that's
That's what I thought they said the first 5 times they brought that up.
Yeah. How about Holm?
It's because they're by that big quarry. That's the holes.
Yes.
That name that everyone has, Holm.
They just didn't want it to be too on the nose. All right, let's
add one more consonant. It's fine.
It's fine.
I am excited to eventually meet this character in the miniseries that will be written by members of this podcast.
That's when you do like Last of Us flashback teasers back to when things are going down.
That is a full-on spin-off.
Yes.
The prequel series.
But you do a shadow pilot in the middle of the season.
The Rise of Nathan backdoor pilot, and then you have.
Excuse me. It's very clear, though, if that's the case, then the title of the prequel would be "Fear the Postman." So
I thought it was the whole home.
Or the whole home.
The whole home.
Unwhole.
Unhome?
I like to think that as far as the calamities go, nobody really had an idea and everyone just kind of made up their own thing that happened. So there's like good air over there.
Sure.
Yes. But there is some of that, and again, in the ambition, it's like even the calamity, even the calamities that we listed so far, each of them is also a whole suite of ideas packed into themselves. Because whatever the disease was, the bad mumps, which the bad mumps only get name checked like more than 45 minutes into the movie. And
they sound made up. I think she just wanted to bone down with the postman.
So there's the bad mumps.
Yeah.
But what the effect of the bad mumps is apparently it renders you stupid, but also it renders you sterile.
Yes.
And kills you? I don't know. So there's a bunch of things.
I think it's the bad mumps automatically trigger in a person whatever plot point is necessary to move forward.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a plot-dependent disease.
It's definitely and I guess I can draw that this is kind of related, but when he first gets conscripted into the Wholeness Army, they're like checking them for, a lot of not great stuff like pure blood and being like suitable ethnic foundation and things like that. Yeah. But at some point he does check someone and just go, "This is a mongoloid." And I was like, "What? That's crazy. Is that mump related?" Maybe. Now I thought they were just being mean, but now I'm like, maybe it was mump related.
No, I see. I think that there's the mumps, but there's also clear like nuclear war fallout issues with people are having. I don't know. There's a whole suite of things. I also know that he tests the water for Bill the mule at the very beginning, and then no one ever cares ever again.
No, it's my favorite scene when he's doing the science and he has the water. It's one of the best things, and then it never comes back. Another thing that never comes back is Will Patton, among the many disasters that precipitated the events of the movie. I think at some point late in the movie, like maybe an hour or two in, Will Patton mentions the bugs. I don't know if you offhandedly the bug. I assume that's one of the plagues, but it never comes up again.
The bugs?
I thought that maybe that's what he was calling like the mumps or the diseases, the bugs, or it could literally be a biblical plague.
Yes, I assumed it was one of the plagues that was mentioned, but you're right. Maybe it's just the mumps, which cause, as Gordon was saying, some sort of stupidity, brain fog, like sort of depression. The COVID days.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, they really got a lot of things right here. They got January 6th correct.
I think the thing that, as far as like
bad mumps.
The bad mumps.
The long bad mumps.
the thing that's confusing as far as this in like our modern reality is the far alt-right holes. They would be the ones that would still want America to be a thing.
Yeah.
They split this thing into two halves. Like America was the good guy in this movie.
The opposite of a hole.
I feel like the holes would be the ones being like, America, you follow our America. As far as like a far alt-right person.
It is politically, there's a whole bag.
Yeah, I see what you did.
Yeah. But like but I do feel like there's been a somewhat of a war, weirdly enough, on the right against the post office.
Yeah.
So there has been a systematic dismantling of the post office, genuinely linked to the right in America. So kind of strange to think that maybe it wouldn't be that way. Maybe the right would maybe the holes would work this way. I don't know.
It makes a lot of sense to me, just knowing, like, now that we actually kind of have one-to-one equivalents of these types of people in groups, where it's like, I definitely get the sense that they would willingly overthrow the government and then be like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. Yep. I guess we'll just kind of go to, Oregon and fuck around. I don't know.
I know where a big hole is.
Like, I don't want to actually be in charge of shit. I just wanted to overthrow the shit. Like, come on.
No plan after that.
I do think one of the fun things is that it's like within 15 years, there's the barest amount of recognition that there was ever any infrastructure existing.
Right. Yeah. It's system
it's just log posts, cabin. It's just, it's all instant. Everything's just swept away except for like old-timey frontier forts.
Yeah, but sometimes they have power.
Yeah,
which is weird. Yeah.
Sometimes they watch The Sound of Music.
Sometimes hey guys,
let's talk about that
first. Let's talk about something that really pissed me off. Why do they dunk so hard on Universal Soldier? What do they have against Roland Emmerich in this fucking movie?
Is it that they just want gentle, Ted Lasso content these days?
That has to be.
Here's the thing. I get the joke. That this is aside from that. The joke, solid joke. These tough dudes want alive. Musicals. I'm just saying, why you gotta hate on it so hard?
I know. They really hated it.
I know. It feels like if they had more money, which God knows, if they'd had more money, what they should have done for the one that everyone hated is they should have shot another movie so as not to bag on.
Or
then you could have also had more fun with it, I think.
Or it should have been like a stone cold Universal classic, like Citizen Kane, and they're like, fuck also that movie!
Yes. That was already one of the most expensive sets of all time, I had read, because it's that mine that they're in for the whole conscription sequence is like 2 miles long.
Don't fact check this. Don't fact check anything.
I wouldn't do that.
The best part about that set is this movie definitely wouldn't have worked if you lopped off the first 45 minutes.
No.
Oh.
Yes, exactly.
The entire first movie is to set up the fact that we aren't going to have a giant showdown at the end. It's just going to be between 2 people.
Yeah.
That first movie is in service of that. That's the first time I checked the clock. I'm like, we got to be halfway through it. It was like the first 45 minutes.
Unfortunately, and this is perhaps my biggest complaint with the feature is, and I do think that you could remedy this maybe in a miniseries, but
sold, Gordon.
Yeah, you keep mentioning we bought it. We bought it in the room.
Listen,
okay.
I don't know. But here's the thing. The one of the strangest things that you have to buy in this movie, and I say this as a man with a beard, is that being lightly stubbled is the perfect disguise. And if you shave your beard, no one will recognize you within 6 months of seeing you.
Beard blindness.
And Will Patton's immediately like, do I know you? It's like, you stared him in the eyes.
Yeah.
You made up a nickname. You made up a nickname with which to berate this person.
You brought him into your private quarters.
Yeah. You played dueling, really bland Shakespeare quotes with this guy.
There's a lot of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
That's not a tiny thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, there's not. What do you mean Shakespeare text, or do you mean the characters?
In the words they are saying are from the source of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And
they're like, no, I'm sorry.
But also there's a lot of Shakespearean action in this.
There's a lot. The points where he's like, one of the points where he's like, all right, okay, you go. All right, to be or not to be, and he's like, touche. I'm like, you said 5 words there, buddy. Like that's not. These are not. He's not doing the whole soliloquy. He's just like.
I mean, they established pretty early on he's not a good actor.
Which I think is pretty funny for like the director and star of the movie to be the one that's really bad at acting.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yes,
Hold up.
Yes.
He is acting opposite a fucking mule. I would like to see
the mule's crushing it.
That mule knows when to kneel.
I'm just saying.
He held a sword.
I would like any of us on this call to do as well acting opposite a mule.
Sold. I'll do it.
That is, by the way, chewing the scenery. So
it is quite literally, yeah.
If any of these plagues actually happen, though, would anyone be interested in watching Shakespeare? I would reenact Die Hard or something. I feel like if the world has fallen apart,
yes,
there is no more love for Shakespeare. We've moved on to the next thing.
Really?
Yeah, no.
It ends literature as we know it.
Ends it. Like we're shutting down Shakespeare. We're going straight to Sound of Music. There's no traveling entertainment that's like, yes, come to our town where we have no water or food and tell us Shakespeare.
Okay.
But don't you think there's more Shakespeare texts around to pick up in the fallen remains?
No, those are all toilet paper.
I do think I'm gonna sound a charge for theater in this regard, because it's like it's built at least for just some idiot on a stage. It's not just like, how are you gonna do Die Hard? It's like, and then
that's where you get creative.
Adapt it.
There's a lot. You'd have to adapt it pretty hard.
Yeah.
Well, you're playing all the roles.
It's the future. It's the future. You have time to adapt Die Hard.
Yeah. I mean, the wholeness is actively burning books and like hoarding culture for like the general, the Bethlehem. So like but obviously they're not everywhere, ironically. But like
they are also seemingly quarrying something for something.
In that mine.
Yes, they're like I thought they're mining.
See, I just assumed that they were just like found a quarry and were like, well, this is
our base.
This is defensible, even though you're in a hole and people could shoot down on you, but it's fine.
That's what it seemed bad
it's
to
the
me.
worst place
It seemed to
to
me
be.
that would be a bad place defensively. Like they could go to a mountain, for example.
Could have.
I didn't think about them gathering resources there. I thought it was just like, this is a place where we can torture people and make them stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Train our conscripts.
It seems like a bad place to do all of those things is all.
It's a terrible place.
Yeah. But it looked cool. They're all about the optics, you know.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're also mining. That's all.
Yes.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. Sure. Why not?
They've got a whole bunch of conscripts. They can't spend all of their time riding around being like, "Hey, give us your stuff."
This is true.
This will be explained further in the miniseries.
Good.
What resources they're mining for?
Unobtainium.
It's unobtainium. Yeah.
Yes. This is episode 3, titled "Yours or Mine," and there's a play on words there.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah. We got it.
Shakespeare.
I was gonna say
Acknowledged.
acknowledged, and now moving on. I was gonna say, in terms of like when we were talking about the set and like it being 2 miles long and I think I'm very impressed in this movie about what, like, the one thing I do like is what this future looks like. I like the way people look. I like the way the Wholeness Army looks. I like the way the Postmen look. I largely like the way normal people look. It feels like, whatever. Maybe I'm going to say it feels somewhat believable. I know it's only a 15-year span, so I don't think things would go down that badly that quickly, but like it feels good to look. It feels fully realized, I guess.
They're recycling clothing. I love their turtlenecks everywhere. I love the layers. And man, do I love those fingerless gloves.
That's the one thing I brought in from Kim. She's like, why isn't every post-apocalyptic future if fingerless gloves have to happen? And then not to jump too far ahead, but when they jump in time, no more fingerless gloves.
Well, yeah, the apocalypse is over.
Apocalypse is over. The fingers come back. Is there a reason? Is there a reason why, as soon as the world falls apart, you have to have no fingers on your gloves?
Yeah, because you need to keep your hands warm, but you need to be able to like pull a gun.
Yeah.
You gotta keep the sun off your fingers. Gordon and I made a splash on set in the desert in Albuquerque over the years because we do have solar gloves, which are light fingerless gloves that would have fit right in this movie to keep the back of your hands from sunburning, especially during COVID times where you have to constantly be applying hand sanitizer that wipes away your sunscreen.
I'm going to be honest. I don't like that you made it make sense.
Yeah, it's actually pretty upsetting.
Yeah.
I've never heard of solar gloves. This is why I can't live in the desert, because I don't like.
You would just burn. It's so hot.
I would die immediately.
It's just so hot all the time.
It's so miserable.
I told Kim it was.
But it also for that reason though, and it's true. You have the fingerless glove because you don't want gloves holding all the heat in your hands.
Then you get sweaty.
That's why they're fingerless for the solar gloves.
I said it was so they could use the finger fabric to make more gloves.
That's possible.
It's efficient.
Yeah. We're using clothes already. Yeah, we're condoms. Sure. Washable condoms.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, they're the tips. So
yeah.
Well, we don't have to worry about condoms now, right?
With the bad mumps?
With the bad mumps, so who cares? Though it did seem like everyone had syphilis. I did get that. They did kind of like...
Yeah.
They all seem to have something going on. And like, you know, and they did make a deal of it, but they never quite explained it because they're constantly asking like, oh, are you smart? Or, oh, you seem smart. And the threshold for being smart, or God, the threshold for being called funny is just so low.
No one remembers Ringo Starr.
What's the question behind the question? What are you talking about here?
Yeah.
Are you smart?
I forget. There's this one actor
Yes,
that
I
was
will
very
impregnate you.
recognizable, and I thought he was from a Mighty Ducks movie, but maybe I'm wrong. He was kind of like a blonde. Doesn't matter. But multiple times, Kevin Costner says some horse shit and like just the most mediocre shit, and he's like, "This guy's real smart," and it's like, okay, all right.
But I honestly think they're making a point, which is that the world has gotten real dumb, which again, prescient.
Yeah.
Like the world has gotten real dumb around them, so that people are like the lowest threshold. Being able to say one line of Shakespeare counts as like, you're a scholar. I like that.
So you're saying Kevin Costner finally brought the world down to his level.
I'm saying that there is a list of catastrophes that brought the world down.
To Kevin Costner.
Lifted it up.
Yes.
It was a perfect storm of things that made Kevin Costner perfectly fit to really shine.
The male ideal is finally Kevin Costner in the multi-apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of always has been in its own way.
Yes, I really like Rex Lynn in this movie. Better Call Saul's Rex Lynn.
Where was he? I saw his name. I didn't.
Oh, he's one of the baddies.
Is he one of? Oh, is he one of the?
He's like
the lieutenant,
third in command of the army. He's not the guy he's not the guy who has his tongue cut out and has his balls cut off.
Okay,
he's like right under that.
Oh, okay. So
liking him, he's not a good guy. He's not
the guy that gets killed by the lion. So he's
in between those.
Yeah. Okay,
this is just an excuse to bring up a Better Call Saul.
Yeah. I saw his name on there. That's good casting though. That's good. Yeah. Good Texas drawl for one of the holes.
Yes.
One of the holes.
That's what they're called, right?
We gotta call them holes.
Before we move on from the apocalypse, Kyle, you have a point of bringing up the bad semen. Do we want to go into the love story a little bit more?
I mean, I would like to talk about that a little bit, just because I think, not that we're a show where we're getting in depth and examining the film, but I think that this is a very weird, that their arc, like the Postman and Abby's arc in this whole movie, is super fucking weird.
It's reversed.
Yes.
It's they bone first.
Yes.
And then they get to like each other, and then he asks her out, basically. The entire thing is flipped.
But they ask him to be a body father, is what they call him, because her husband can't get her pregnant because he had the bad mumps.
Right. Yeah. And also in the apocalypse, you have to make up new words for things like surrogate.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Body father.
Body father.
The worst.
Words in the apocalypse suddenly disappear, and you have to come up with the new ones.
Well, everyone's dumb.
Right.
The brain fog.
It's the brain fog. It's the lack of a functioning postal service.
Yeah, that's a big part
of
it.
They're like, oh, what's that word when you're like, you do something for somebody, but you have no stake in it. Body father.
Honestly, again, I feel like none of us should judge. If the internet went down today, I would be making up words. I'd be like, what's that word?
Just talk around it.
Body father. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, body father. Totally. I get it.
That's just what it is now.
But then it spreads.
That's just what it is now.
It somehow still spreads, and everybody knows what that means.
No one's going to correct me. No one's going to... Ideas... There is a weird spread of ideas in the movie. I'll give you that. It's like, I don't understand how ideas spread when they're all like, we've had no contact, but yet suddenly, like, the idea of the postal service is just spread.
It's when the postman reinvents walking from town to town.
Right, but they all know there's towns. They've got the electrified zip line. They know there's towns down the line. They have contact.
Oh, the Act 3 motor car. Zoom into Act 3 zip line car.
Yes, but going back,
let's talk about bad.
How much time passed when they were in that cabin? Was she pregnant the whole time? Like, there was no markers.
Was it a full winter?
It was a full winter.
Was it a 3-year winter? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think they just got out of that, right?
Kim was like, she does not look pregnant enough for how long.
System with 30 routes.
Let me tell you what would solve this problem narratively.
Nice.
A mini. So I'm just saying.
Once again, we're on board 100%.
Gordon,
we get it. Yes, you're gonna star in it. We get it. It's fine.
Gordon, as long as the end of the movie, when they like pivot from their apocalypse, if they flood the planet, hear me out. The end of the Postman is the planet. Yes.
Gotcha. I'm with you.
Yes.
Listen,
and then he gets gills.
This goes. I'm just saying. But in terms of the bad semen, I feel like the thing.
Can you just call it the bad seed?
If I had a nickel for every time Gordon pivoted that way,
I just said that
calling it seed in that context just seems so much worse.
Yeah, I'm just saying it how the movie said it. The movie said bad semen. That's it. We're just trying to be clinical here.
Right. Like they were when they make out passionately with tongues and super slow movie sex scenes. Very clinical. I just need a body father.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, you have to make things work, but so I feel like it's a little tricky. There's a balance.
I see.
But
I agree.
I'm getting a glare here, but so
sorry, I'll look away.
The weird thing to me is that she goes before the cabin scene.
Yes.
Before the cabin scene, Olivia Williams' character is like a naive child who's like, "Please, sir, please impregnate me. I've been dreaming of a child." And then in the cabin scene, suddenly she's a gunslinging, horse murdering, like, "Get your ass out of there. You're going to die if you don't work those legs.
You're lazy."
Like, she suddenly becomes a different thing, which maybe it just was a color that we hadn't seen because we were mostly interested in her as a body. No, what is a mother? What's a mother?
A mother body.
Mother body.
Mother body.
Mother body.
A womb person.
Couple suddenly. There's all this baggage, and part of it is that she saw the 8 and she just lost her husband, and she's been through a lot, and she's been seemingly consistently raped by Bethlehem.
Yes,
as he sort of throws in her face. Are you sure I'm the father?
Which also makes the timeline weird. If she was if she was impregnated and then captured, and he like kept trying to abuse her this whole time, and then they go through the cabin and live through the cabin, and she still hasn't had. Maybe in the apocalypse, longer pregnancy is a thing. Is that
maybe it's 16 months?
Yeah,
like it.
Also, they say that he was so enraged because he could not, because it seems like
he couldn't.
Bethlehem either couldn't get it up because he also had the bad mumps, or because into dudes, which they also imply pretty strongly.
Wait, when did they imply that? I completely missed that one.
Oh, there's some lingering looks at various people that or that he's one of those like, I'm into the torment kind of guys. So
I mean, I feel like Will Patton's one of those actors that he probably is trying to. He was probably like, he likes guys, and was like trying to add that subtext.
The thing about Will Patton is he's like, he can be either the sweetest good guy ever, or he's just a monster. And this is like,
So
I'm
great.
gonna have fun with this.
Yeah.
I buy either one, so it could go either way with Will Patton.
Would you bring him back for the miniseries?
Yes, I think I would bring him back as as the William von Bargen
Ugh, he was
character.
so good.
Yeah,
I don't know who that is.
William von Bargen is the guy who's the sheriff who instantly is
Yes.
like when
Oh.
when Kevin Costner comes to town and he's like, is it
Daniel von
Daniel
Bargen.
Daniel
Daniel
von
von
Bargen.
You're a liar. I believe you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Who
von
chases
Bargen.
after him with he's the one guy who doesn't believe him, who sees through him, and at the end, he just
Right, Postman.
Yes, he gives him his letter because he just can't. He just has to believe a little bit.
Yeah.
He is the heart of this movie.
Yes, it's true.
Ride, Postman.
That community gets, what is it, Pineview, I think?
Pineview.
That
Pineview,
community gets rocked multiple times throughout this movie.
That's what you get for sheltering a postman.
The one I'm honestly not trying to nitpick, but there's so many things. And this movie it's either, depending on how you look at it, it's either a rich text or an incoherent text. And I think part of that is just there's so much in it.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I was always like, I don't understand what happened here, because the postman comes up and there's giant posts and they're like, you can't get in. We're not letting you in. There's no way we're letting you in.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time the wholeness shows up, they go in a different entrance, and they just there's like a wall on one side where it's like, nope, you can't get in here.
No one comes through the other side. We don't have to worry about that one.
They just created the Maginot Line for Oregon.
They didn't have time. They got other stuff to do. All right, they can't just be building walls.
There's so many
everywhere.
apocalypse happening. We don't have time to build a wall on every angle.
Every time they build like 3 feet of wall, there's a plague. Like,
Yes.
It's awful.
But then later they're back, and then they have to shell, and maybe that's a different town. I thought they had to shell them
Yeah,
too. Then.
that's a different town.
That's a different
That's
town.
a different one, yeah.
Because that's when the lady suddenly is like a badass with a machine gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
Yes.
Oh yeah.
is it then like, oh, like maybe she's not so what's the word? Like she's definitely more dangerous than she's letting on. Please be my body, father.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's been through a lot. She's still pregnant. She's
Yes.
like 19 months into this pregnancy.
Yep.
It's
But the best part about babies in the future is they come out walking
Yeah.
because you're in there for so long.
My
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
my
Like
favorite
a
thing
giraffe.
Yeah.
my
if
favorite
I
thing
could do
about
a Christopher Walken impression, I would say they come out Christopher Walken.
Heyo.
And then
Hey.
Just imagine that.
Yes.
Just like a baby joke, but like with a Christopher Walken voice.
That would be the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my
Oh,
life.
the apocalypse.
I was gonna say my favorite thing about the pregnancy isn't even how long it took. It's at the end that they're like, her name is Hope. And then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, her name is Hope the Postman. Good for her.
Hope Postman.
Hope Postman.
That's the name of the prequel series, not
Yeah.
Fear the Postman.
Hope Postman.
Oh, I'm sorry, the sequel series.
That's the
Sequel
sequel one. That takes place in 2043.
Is his name not on the statue? at the
No!
end? It just still
Just
says the
Postman.
I think it just says the postman on the statue.
Yeah.
Or it just says the
Nobody
Yes.
asked.
Justice for Gordons.
Yeah.
This is part of a systematic Gordon erasure that I would like to point out.
Whatever, Postman. Anyway,
Well, yeah, whatever, Postman. Get out of here. God, that's good.
future style. Do you want to talk any more about your? I would just like to say, despite their future style with all their layers and their knits, everyone looks so hot.
Yeah.
They didn't need so many layers. You look so hot.
They do look very
Yeah,
warm.
in the desert, for
Yeah.
sure. I was wondering if the temperature had dropped due to climate change.
Here's the thing that you learn when you get a postman costume that's fairly decent.
Yes. Okay. Good. Yes.
Once you
Please.
commit to
Once you
this.
commit to it,
Yes.
you realize that you're wearing a scarf,
Yes.
right? That's one layer.
Yeah.
You're wearing a button down or some kind of shirt underneath. For long sleeve, it's clearly a long sleeve shirt.
Mhm.
And either you're wearing, because he wears two different coats at different points.
Yeah.
I have the older coat, and it's quite heavy. So I can
Yeah.
only wear the costume for a short. Also, the hat adds some heat. So, like, really, you are sweating in that ensemble.
Well, even then, it sounds like you dress down a little bit because throughout half the movie, he just has a thick cable net, like
Yes.
turtleneck sweater throughout it.
Everybody's in a turtleneck in
Yeah.
this
There's
movie.
a lot. But again, let's be fair. We don't know what happened during the climactic shifts. The climatic shift, I should say.
Everybody now sweats at
winters.
Yeah, it's like a cold 45. Everybody's sweating.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
In the sun.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I guess my thing was when he finds the body. Speaking of his the multiple jackets, there's he pulls a rad ass bomber jacket off that body, and I was like, that's not a jacket. No postman has ever dressed like that. This is some dude that custom made that for
really
himself.
Into being a postman.
Yeah, I mean, love your job.
Yeah,
I'm picking so many nits, but it's but when you see the dead postman, R.I.P.
Yes.
Not the postman, but the dead postman that the postman takes the postman's clothes
Thank
off.
you for clarifying, postman.
I'm trying to clarify the postman prime.
Postman.
It's a fully articulated skeleton.
Yes.
Wearing clothes that are perfectly intact.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have not deteriorated due to the elements.
Rotting schmutz postman on them.
No.
There's no signs that animals have eaten through. Mm-hmm. It's just picked clean skull.
Inside the jacket, the arm is just gone. Maybe the bugs came through and ate only the
It's a testament to how much they protect your mail.
Yeah.
So it's protected from all elements, and it just decomposed completely in 15 years.
Yeah.
Neither rain nor sun nor shine
or decomposition will destroy your letters.
Yeah, no, it's true. There's a series of things. I'm just saying, there's a series of things.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that is definitely the biggest problem with this movie.
I will say though, in terms of the style, I look at it and go, "Ooh, that's some cool weather clothes."
It is though.
I like future.
I like this future.
Yeah,
as a sweating person, I'm like, "Ooh, great."
Like
it. Would you guys feel the need to change your name in the post-apocalypse?
Oh.
To add a the?
No, just like a Ford Lincoln Mercury. Like a lean cuisine, big beefy easy cheese.
Wow.
Yeah,
that'd be good. Chili Mac.
I would change my name to Sam. Samsung.
I like that.
And you also have a club. It would work.
Yeah,
exactly. Sam's Club.
That's all mine.
I've always wanted to be Italian, so I think I'd change my name to Buca di Beppo.
Oh.
That's good. But what about the multiple things? You can get multiple. You could be like Buca di Beppo Fazoli, Chef Boyardee.
Yes, Dodge Chrysler. What's
right? Yeah.
What's is there a third one I can throw in there?
Dodge Chrysler. Yeah.
Dodge Chrysler.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. Built for off-roading.
You could just try it. My name is Aston Martin.
Yeah, Kia Sorento.
Kia Sorrento is good.
I think I could go with the Velveeta Easy Cheese.
I'm gonna say this is a mutual friend of ours. Recently, I had lunch with him, and he told me one time at church camp they went around and everyone said their name, and he just changed his name to Chopper for a week, and I was like, damn, that's rad. You should have stuck with that. The fact that I don't call you Chopper, you fucked up. Because that's good. So I'm like, I want to be Chopper.
Yeah, just got to start a new job. Yeah. Unfortunately, these guys on this call already know the name I go by. So I can't reset to a new name until I scrub this identity and move on to a new group of people.
Well, fake your death.
I'll still call you Buca di Beppo. It's fine.
No, let's go with Kia.
The trick of it, you do hang a lantern on a perhaps a problematic moment in the movie, which is just to say, when they introduced the character and he's like, "Hi, my name is Ford Lincoln Mercury."
Yes.
I went, I had a little smile. I went, that's cute. Somebody, when naming this child ostensibly, had taken saw a name on a sign that was a relic. And they didn't quite know, and they revered this relic in a certain way.
Yes.
And they named this child that. Yeah. And then he goes, "Oh no, I just saw the sign, knew it was a car dealership, and thought I like cars. So I'm gonna name myself after cars."
Yes.
He's not even cars, a car dealership.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ford Lincoln Mercury was very impressionable and very eager to find some sort of direction.
Yeah.
And also die. anything he did, he's like, I don't care if I have to die.
Well, he's all in.
The burning post office at the
I will die to get a letter through. I just became a postman.
So most of the things in the second movie of this movie don't happen if Ford Lincoln Mercury didn't take it upon himself to actually just build the entire new postal service
network of postmen. I think this is prescient of Generation Z.
Yes.
The Gen Z who came up during all of these crises and has a different priorities than we might identify with.
Yeah.
Different generations who can say which.
Yeah. It's true. Ford Lincoln Mercury, it's true. In one sense, causes a lot of problems, but in another, is the hero of the movie.
Absolutely.
Like, is the guy who actually builds a post office that functions, sorts mail, and sends people out to defiantly, like, connect people of the towns.
Yeah.
That's not what Costner did.
In like a month and a half.
Yes.
He brings back the post office in a month and a half.
Or 3 months.
Or 2 years. No. I don't know.
It's really
however long it takes to have a baby in the future.
He heard the idea. He saw the promise in Kevin Costner delivering one letter to he delivers one letter, and people go, "Oh, well."
I'm like, I don't care if I have to die to do that.
This is worth it.
He's actually really clever in terms of, like, obviously he sets up the whole system. He really does the lion's share of the work to set up the system. And he's really clever about, like, he just assumes he'll never see Costner again and immediately is like, but I'll make him an idea and I'll use it to manipulate and inspire. And I'm like, this kid's...
letters are coming from the postman all the time. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, absolute hero of the movie.
He's the smartest person in this movie, I think, maybe. Yeah.
Do you think he regretted changing his name to Ford Lincoln Mercury then?
No.
Maybe.
It has a nice ring to it, nice rhythm.
Postmaster Ford Lincoln Mercury.
Yes.
I'm surprised. He should have been like envelope, letter opener, stamp.
Yeah, that's true.
I just saw the Postman and I wanted to do it. I'm over cars. Envelope, letter opener, stamp.
Right.
No,
Postmaster.
He is the Postmaster General, and with heavy on the general.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Maybe Priority Express.
A lot of better Postman, Priority Express, Postmaster General.
First class Priority Express.
Yes.
There you go. Like the way you mail. I would say Joey brought up a good point after we had watched this, and I guess it's exploring what the entire premise of the movie is built on, but it feels like there's a lot of other jobs that maybe would have been better suited to fix the apocalyptic world beyond postmen.
No, the Postal Service is the heart of democracy.
Okay.
Okay. So you're saying this would have worked for you?
We're wrong. Please make your case.
There are other ones. I do think that there are other, because the heart of the Postal Service is communication.
Sure.
So I do think that you could redo this. Maybe season 2 of Gordon's miniseries is not postal workers. Maybe
I thought this was a one and done. I'm sorry. This is not a limited series anymore?
It's not a miniseries. It's ongoing with a series of spinoffs. So the second...
We can't get big actors then.
Is all about the interlibrary loan system,
of course,
which I think that, serves a similar purpose. You do one starting telephone repairmen, repairing the copper wire. It's all about communication. Knowledge is power, but the postman is really the heart of that service.
So if the apocalypses happen tomorrow, and then 15 years later you see a postman, you're saying that this inspiration would work for you. Like, there is a postman. You say the postman is who I'm going to hang my hat on. I am inspired to get back to the world we once knew.
Yeah. Postman is perfect.
Yeah, the roads are safe again.
But I'm gonna back you up on this because I feel like
please.
I'm gonna back you up on this because I feel like there's let's take for granted that these
the movie's doing that in spades, so it's fine.
I know. let's just assume for a moment that all of these weird catastrophes have happened. Yeah. They have knocked civilization back 200 years, right? You can't make a phone call.
Yeah.
In 15 years, the phones, there's not really reliable electricity. I don't know why. There's not like power grids that are just still going normally.
Some EMPs maybe
there's
went
not
off.
cars running. So clearly you're not getting petroleum out of the ground. You're not, a whole bunch of things that are like, so the internet's down, as I said, we're all in chaos. So you can ride a horse with a piece of paper and some pencil markings on it and say, oh, wait, let's share this idea back and forth. Like, let's connect. So it's just, it's a seed. It's a semen, if you will.
But a good kind.
Yeah, the good kind.
It's the good semen is the Postman.
But that's not as snappy as a name.
You know, you're really making this all vibe.
Semen.
You're really making this all vibe for me thematically.
They could have called the movie The Good Seaman, but they just felt, because in the end, that's what he is.
The world wasn't ready.
No, they weren't ready. Yeah, they could have called Waterworld that too.
They could have.
Yes. But I don't want to underestimate how magic it is that you can write something down, put it in a random box on the street, and then somehow it appears across the country a few days later. That's magic now.
You are right. I've known some people from Ireland intimately, and like famously the story about the mail carriers in Ireland is like you can just write name, no address, and then just city, and it will get delivered because it's just such a tiny place, and everyone just kind of they'll just find them. It's fine.
Now I'm when I asked. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There is a reason that I am like Jen said, the two things that I am a believer in the American democratic experiment.
Okay.
Are the Postal Service and the library.
Yes.
And part of those are because they are about knowledge sharing. And literally when you look at the building of the country, the post office was subsidized because it was valued so highly to say, in order for us to be one place, you had to be able to get things to pretty much everybody. You're not because, FedEx is great as an infrastructure, but it's not democratic because it means that you have to spend a lot more money to get it there. And if I can be anybody out in the boondocks, this is all, my folks live pretty far up in northern Michigan, and it's like if they had to go off of just money, getting a letter someplace would be annoying.
But what's all this I'm hearing about the post office loses so much money every year? What's all this I'm hearing about?
It's not a business. That's the thing. And it was. I'm not even kidding. I'm gonna get a little soapbox here. Yeah. It was not valued as a business. It is a part of the. It is a function of government.
It is a core
value, and it's been turned into. Now they're like, no, it's just this business. So we need to be like, oh, it's an accounting of this and that. And it's like, well, you're just saying that poor people shouldn't be able to send letters. That's all.
Yes.
To be clear, I'm not saying when I ask the question that I have like a better answer.
Yeah.
In terms of what would inspire you to bring America back.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I get that you hate the post office.
Yeah. Oh, no. I actually,
no one here.
We can talk about how you hate the post office.
Here's the problem. No one here was out there buying enough Buzz Lightyear stamps to keep it afloat, okay?
When the DeJoy stuff happened, I bought a post office t-shirt and a post office Matchbox car from the post office. I am a fan of post office.
All right, good. We're all clear here.
So now
we're all ride or die for the post office.
Yeah. My credentials are now established. I'm just saying.
All right, now that we've said that, the other job would clearly be getting OnlyFans back online. That would be the thing that could bring us all together.
Well, so this is the interesting thing.
Traveling OnlyFans.
But this is the interesting thing about
the full internet.
Not
just OnlyFans.
Well, I was going to say that the interesting thing about this movie is that I believe all the shit starts to go down in like 1998. So you're not even getting internet in everyone's life. Like it's not a regular thing. Like maybe you were on AIM, but like really it wasn't
it's
like
not every day.
every day in your life.
Maybe? Maybe you could ask Jeeves, but that was it.
Alta Vista, maybe?
I was going to say Alta Vista too.
You could start traveling as Jeeves. You could be Jeeves.
You could be Jeeves.
Yes, maybe that's how we adapt this series.
Yeah,
it's not a librarian, not Postman, it's Jeeves.
Call me Google.
Google Jeeves Alta Vista.
I'm the Google search engine.
Yes.
But I think a librarian, I do think that's
cool.
a very good alt of somebody who would like prioritize collecting the knowledge. It's just the traveling stuff.
Listen,
not being able to share it.
Not for the fact that there weren't already a series called The Librarian and The Librarians. I would be like all in here with you, but
how about The Librarians? Can we add a couple more S's? Can we still get that in there?
I think that's fine. I was going to say, obviously, in the miniseries, they do meet a librarian who is like hoarding knowledge. Sure. Obviously, you get to see, I mean, you're exploring that idea and seeing it in action.
But it's somebody, you do it, you in all seriousness, you do it Fahrenheit 451 style, right? You have people that are, if there's a whole group of people that are out there burning books, you have a bunch of other people that are like, this is stuff that I need to keep sacred. I need to keep it.
Yeah,
and then you have the babies in the test tubes and have the kids that can make other babies in the test tubes. And then we just bring them all together. And then the animals talk. It's going to be great.
It all works.
Fine. It's all going to be good.
I would just offer to you guys, imagine that Kevin Costner has fled this conscription and he is freezing cold and he stumbles upon a crashed bookmobile. The whole movie plays out exactly the same.
It could. I mean, like,
what is this?
You could hit like a handful of the same. Like it could work.
And then at the end battlefield, he's reading a passage from something important or from Fahrenheit 51. Not Shakespeare. That's boring.
No,
he forgets Shakespeare in the future.
He's reading novels from the Star Wars extended universe.
Oh, yes.
Let me read Heir to the Empire to you, a classic.
Yes. Was it Timothy Zahn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all let me pitch a different version. Okay, so maybe...
Fine. I mean, we hit it, but you go ahead.
No, I know. I'll just say, these seem actually very plausible versions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick one more implausible version, which is jobs that could restart the world.
Yeah.
He decides to be an influencer. And what he does is what happens is he finds a Polaroid camera in a crashed car.
Yes.
And he goes town to town selling pictures of himself.
That's basically what he is, but it's like you took away the job part and it's just the part he actually does.
Yeah.
That's the modern version of it. I think that's exactly it.
Take away the job, he just influences.
You're like, ooh, that's that turtleneck.
Yeah, an army of influencers.
I'm an idea. That's it.
I mean, that is basically what he does.
It's what he does, but the difference is him knowing that's what he does.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think you should wear scarves.
I think 100%. More scarves, the better.
Scarves in the summer.
Because all of the Postman acolytes clearly take his scarf as a part of their uniform.
Yep.
They're like, I see.
They're like, it's so hot, but I have to do it.
I must.
Yes.
The Postman said.
Well, there's even that moment where he puts his cap backwards, and he's like, "That's what we used to do back in the day. It was cool."
Truly one of the weirder moments in the movie.
Once again, tonally, really weird.
Yes.
Some real weird moments.
Yes, keep it light. Keep it light.
Keep it
light.
You used to. It's funny.
This is one of the rare movies we're doing this season where we not only have a past future, but then an actual future.
Yeah.
At the very end of it.
Yeah.
It looks very similar to 20 years ago.
It's literally 1997.
Yeah. The futuriest future that we've talked about looks like something we've experienced 30 years ago. At this point.
Yeah. Not much has changed.
No.
Everything just kind of went back.
Yes.
Yeah, fingerless gloves gone. So we're out of the apocalypse. We're already making statues.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a lot of pastels.
Yes. A lot of pastels. No more ties. Well, you can tell it's the future because they only have those round collars with no ties and suits. That's how you know it's future.
That is a future I can get behind.
I fucking love that look. I hope it happens. We gotta skip cargo pants and go straight to super round collars.
I just think it's interesting that in their future, when they get past the apocalypse, it just goes back to like there was nothing weird that shifted. No. Like the Postman style is everyone's style or something.
And towards that, I also feel like, and I'm like, I guess maybe it almost feels because the only thing you see in terms of transportation is like a series of boats in the harbor.
Yes.
They're like, we've learned our lesson, not cars, boats.
It's possible. They got movie camera or TV cameras back, so they already got like broadcasts are back in 15 years.
Yeah,
and I think part of that is they're able to jumpstart that because it's not been so long that people that know how that stuff works are dead. Yeah, because there's that guy who's like, I built the space station. Or whatever. Those people are still around.
A fake space station, I think. I don't think that's a real space station that he mentions. Was it? I can't remember. He name checks one, but
yeah. But I'm sure in the fiction of the movie that was real. So those people are still there. So,
I think that does say that you bring up a good point, which is like maybe they needed all of those catastrophes because they were like, okay, how do you lose the collected understanding of like all of civilization in 15 years?
Yes.
Would disease do it? Well, maybe, but it would take some time.
Yeah.
Would nuclear war do it? Well, it would really have to be quite a nuclear war to do it. It would really have to decimate.
What if it's a half-assed nuclear war?
But if it's just a tactical nuclear war, but what if it's all of these things? There's a war.
What if we only kind of do all of them?
16 years of drought.
There's 16 years of drought.
They're just really dehydrated. All of them.
It's a collective hallucination.
Okay, well, I live in that future then because I'm dehydrated all the time.
Sorry, you got something.
No, go.
I was just say, having just seen this movie for the first time in 2023, it worked better than I was expecting it to. And the stuff they're talking about in the movie about like far alt-right militias having their own ideas, taking over stuff, somebody needing a beacon that symbolizes what they believe in democracy in America, all that stuff. Like this feels like it's like a Bible story version for America now. It's like a Gallagher mallet of a thing where it's like, this is America. This will bring us back. And like, it kind of works more, I feel like now than it would have when it came out.
Kinda.
Yeah. So the time is right for the miniseries.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
This is what America needs right now.
Postman the show.
It's gonna happen, and I can't wait. I'm thrilled.
And then Waterworld.
Here's the thing. You still said it in 2013. You still say,
oh yeah. No, you have to. I have a question regarding 2043. Do you think that they have created a better world? Like, because it seems like it's just gone back to what it was in 97, right?
Nothing.
I was saying, they learned nothing.
That's what I was going to say.
We got back to where we were.
Okay. We're still burning fossil fuels super hard.
But in boats now.
Yeah, but in boats. Directly dumping it into the ocean.
Yeah, we're just destroying all the water now. So
well, we already did that.
Well, yeah, that'll make Waterworld more interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. No, they learned nothing. For sure.
Okay, that was kind of the vibe I got. I was like, damn, we're not like in a utopia? What the fuck?
That's the ultimate commentary at the end of it. Like, we persevered, we pushed through, and we learned nothing.
My issue is that was not their intention. I'm pretty sure. I think you're correct. It does work in that way, but I don't think they meant that to be.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong.
Different read.
Yeah, different read. I mean, art, right?
Right.
We're talking about it.
Yeah. That's what shows there's a big well here to explore for a miniseries.
I mean, there's something to it. It takes 15 years for everything for the clock to be set back 200 years.
Yes.
And it takes 30 years to just get back to normal.
Yeah.
Get back to where you were.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense.
That's the human spirit. That's will, you know? Right. If we just have one postman, we'll get back in like roughly 15. A chill 15.
A chill 15. Cool.
Another element that I wonder about is they have, if there's in the dance sequence, sequence they use the dance, and they're playing like a folk music version of what a song, like a funk song from the 70s.
Yeah, they're doing like folksy needle drops.
That's where like people are getting murdered too, right? That's where like they're cutting between the dance and then they're going to like people getting murdered.
I think you're thinking of a later one.
Those are there's so many sequences like that where there's cross cutting, and I'm like, I don't I don't know what this is trying to tell me.
That's what I said out loud to Kim. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to feel right now. Like they're kind of getting close and dancing, but then like all the post kids are dying.
You're supposed to feel every edit.
They come and get your love, and they do it as like a folksy ballad. And I'm like, okay, so we can't just play the CD of that but we can play an electrified folk version of it.
Yes.
For us to listen to, which makes me wonder, in his town, is Tom do they play like "I Won't Back Down"?
They have to
at the gates of Tom Petty. Or does Tom Petty play a live set every night to the people of his town?
I would elect him mayor if he did.
I think that 100% he has at the very least taught his whole catalog to the town. So his music lives on, obviously, forever. But like, I mean, that's part of it, right? If you're a good mayor, you're inspiring. That'll keep everyone sane. Like, that'd be great.
If you had a choice to live in Pineview or the town where you get a free Tom Petty concert every night, where are you going to go?
Well,
or maybe that's, you know what? I would also make it into my like secret handshake passcode to get in. It'd be like, you know, Halt, who goes there? Will you back down? I won't back down. Right, you're in.
I'll stand my ground. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll stand my ground.
It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, well, what other rock and roll singers are running the town?
Tom Petty is a pretty good choice for someone to inspire.
Tom Petty's very good. He feels folksy enough that I'm like, he could lead people, right? He'd be likable.
Richard Starkey is president.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot. Ringo.
Richard
you
Starkey.
Didn't get that. You don't you don't like the Beatles at all.
No, I didn't get that.
I didn't get that either.
Okay, good.
Jen brought it up, and I'm like,
afterward. And I was like, why doesn't anybody remember Ringo? Is that part of the brain fog? It's like he could have chosen any name, but he chose someone people would actually know.
I think this is the same universe as that Danny Boyle movie, right? Everyone's also forgotten the Beatles.
Slumdog Millionaire?
Yes, Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Sunshine? Okay, yes, all of them, right?
Shallow Grave?
Yeah.
All day.
Yes. Let's just name it.
It would be a great. Who would be whose town I would want to go in?
Meatloaf. Tom Morello.
Yeah.
Of Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, he would.
But there's no machine to rage against.
There's all the machine. There's a hole to rage against. The hole to rage against.
But the machine is gone to. So like you're raging against the Postman. I feel like Tom Morello Town would be bad.
Well, no. There's no more machines to rage against, but there's plenty of room to parade. So it's like, it's a trade-off, I think. Yeah. I think it's pretty
What's
good.
on parade?
Bulls.
Bulls, right.
Bulls.
Yes, bulls on parade.
We're called bulls.
We're called bulls.
In Tom Morelloville.
I mean, he would at least set up like a socialist society. Like, I'm like, it would make sense. He would build a better future, I think. Yeah, he would at least try.
Yes. Wasting away again in Morelloville.
But let's face it, coming from a state where there have been very serious attempts to run Kid Rock for Senate, like that's also an option.
Yeah, it could be.
They would be the first to just die out, though. We're out of beer. Oh, okay. I guess Kid Rockville's not a problem anymore.
Yeah. They all died off from lack of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
Meatloaf. I'd go live in Meatloaf's town. R.I.P. But I'd go live in Meatloaf Town.
Yeah.
Because it'd be a party there.
You want, like... The problem is that you don't want Meatloaf before he died Meatloaf.
No, you want like, old Meatloaf.
You want Rocky Horror Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Right?
I want 80s, 90s Meatloaf.
You want Bat Out of Hell Meatloaf. Yes, politically, yes. You don't want to live in... Yeah, that's not the Meatloaf.
Can I... Yeah, if it... I'm sorry. Are we changing reality now? All of a sudden? Are we?
Okay. So you do.
I can't have 90s, 80s, 90s.
Listen, this is a future in which it's 2013 and Meatloaf is president.
He has not gone nuts yet.
Okay. Well, we don't know that for sure.
No,
I don't know what Meatloaf was like in 2013.
I'm sure he was still a piece of shit. Whatever.
We don't know what kind of mumps he had. He could have had the good mumps.
All of them.
Could have had the bad mumps.
He had all of them.
Semen. He could have had the bad semen.
Yeah. Well, probably the bad.
Probably. I don't think it's that much of a mystery.
If I were to guess, he probably already had the bad. Would be my guess.
I think we should probably wrap this up here.
Yeah.
What makes you say?
We're going to start to say stuff we regret if we keep going. So
no, it's fine.
Kyle, do you want to do wrap up?
Yeah. I mean, we really usually only ask a couple questions at the end of every show about the future. And the first of those is, what would you bring into our current future from the Postman's 2013? Like, what did you like? What would you bring forward?
I mean, the respect of the post office.
And the respect of the post office. Yeah,
Yes.
the respect for the post office, for sure.
For an institution. It was refreshing that there wasn't somebody being like, defund the post office or something.
Yeah. Well, instead, I mean, in this movie, they're like, murder the post
Yeah,
office.
yeah.
So it's like a little bit more extreme.
It's a mix, but if I had to choose like an element that we haven't talked a ton about, I think I'd bring back the drive-in movies in the Quarry. That was pretty epic.
Yeah,
I think the sound would reverberate maybe more than you'd want, but it's a pretty cool place.
What about Universal Soldier?
Boo!
Universal Soldier 2, fine.
I mean, let's be honest. The fourth one's the best one, so it doesn't matter. It's fine. I would bring the fashion for sure. I really like the looks and the layering, and like I don't know. I feel like everyone looks
so
real
hot
good
all the time.
Listen,
I would be. I'd
noted,
look fucking great.
Yeah, I already had. To be fair, one of the reasons that I did decide to invest in a Postman costume, to build a Postman costume, is that I already had a scarf that looked pretty much exactly like that.
You were halfway there.
And you wanted the coat.
I'm like, I'm in.
I'm in with the coat.
How much is a Postman coat? A long floor.
I got it.
From Goodwill.
I got it at Goodwill.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So not
what a
bad.
good find.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, that's great.
Only a couple people died in it.
Yeah. How did you?
It only takes
But
one.
listen, they were reduced to skeletons. And
Yeah.
it was
So it was fine.
Perfect.
You just
Only
shake them out.
residue of the flesh.
Yeah. Wow, what a find. What a lucky
There
find.
was one finger bone in the pocket, but
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
luck. That's lucky.
Yeah, that's true. You can break that off with your friend, and whoever gets the bigger digit, part of the digit, makes a wish.
That's why Gordon always carries around that finger bone.
Who wants to break this bone with me?
Joey, did you say what you would take with you?
The respect of the post office was what I was saying. Just it was refreshing to see people rally around something and there not be like a toxicness to it, aside from just there was something simpler about the pure murder of the postman, and then like the actual support of the post office, where it's like, oh, this is how it's supposed to work. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it was pretty black and white. There's no like 3D chess going on.
No.
I mean, one other small thing I would take with me: the appreciation of the mule.
Yes.
Because horses get a lot of credit in the world.
Yeah.
Horses get a lot of credit. Donkeys get a lot of credit.
Yeah.
But a mule, real mule
that can act.
That can act. That's lovable.
The real love story of the movie.
Yeah.
I gasped when we found. I was not prepared.
Seriously, I was not prepared.
Well,
for
as
that
soon as
either.
he showed up, I'm like, Kim, does that mule die? And it was like the first 30 seconds. She's like, I don't remember. I'm like, that mule dies.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's
It's
so anyway. But appreciation of mules. I think that was a good thing.
Yeah, they didn't cry when the horse was shot and eaten later in the movie.
No, I mean, I've made my stance known many times across many different forums that fuck horses. No, thank you. No, thank you. They're murderers.
Horses
they're too big, way too big, and some of them mean, real mean. I don't like.
Never met a mean mule though.
This is the thing. A lot of these problems are solved by mules.
Yeah.
So,
I've only ridden a horse once at a dude ranch as a Girl Scout trip, and it did not go well.
Yeah.
It started backing up. That's when they rear up. It's not a good experience.
When people are like, "Oh, this horse has an amazing personality," I'm like, "No, it doesn't. It's a fucking horse."
It just has not a bad one.
But mules, though.
Ironically, mules, the workhorse of, I guess, four-legged working animals. Yeah.
Ironic they'd be called that, huh?
Ironic. Well, if mules were more popular, they'd just be known as the mules of that world.
You think of mule, you just think of people taking drugs across borders. And that's not fair.
And
that's not fair to mules.
You're actually right. That's not fair. And I guess the bigger question that we want to end on is, would you live in this world? Like,
it's a softball.
Yeah, the 2013 version, not 24. So boring, 2043. No, thank you. We're talking about the 2013.
Real anti-woman in that feudal system they had. So
I'm
going to pass on.
Yeah,
this.
I could see that, Jen. Yeah.
It looked too hot.
Yeah.
You think so?
Too hot.
If I can keep the clothes from it in my current world, then I don't think I'm going to go into that.
Gordon, if you don't have fingerless gloves the next time I see you, I'm going to be really upset.
But here's the question. If we say, would I live in that world was 2013. So now we're asking, would we live in the world that existed 10 years past?
Yeah.
The events of the Postman. That I don't know, because it only took 30 years to get us back to 1997.
Yeah.
So like we're like 10 years in.
Yeah.
I bet we can send an email now.
1/3 of the way to 97. That's where we are.
Yeah, that's true. We are thinking. You do bring up a good point, because it's not just would you live in 2013. It's would you live through 15 different catastrophes and then live in 2013. And my answer is yes, if I live in Tom Petty Town. 100%. It seems fucking chill.
I won't back down.
If I can ride the zip line every day. Yeah, straight to Act 3.
You go straight to Act 3 in the zip line.
That's great. I'm like, well, as soon as I'm done with it, I'm like, all right, I'm taking the zip line to 2043.
Someone bad shows up. He says, hey, don't come around here no more.
Don't come around here no more. If you, I swear to God, if you come here, you're going to be free falling, bud. All right? We can't do this.
Yeah.
His followers would be like zealots. He would have an army.
Yeah.
They would fight for Tom Petty.
And I'd be a general in it. And I'd love him to death.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
You stand your ground.
Well, I think that's it. I think
so.
we've covered everything. Baby.
Nice.
Impossible.
2
It's
hours.
Such a long movie.
In 2 hours left, we've covered the future of the Postman.
Yeah.
We've saved you 2 hours.
Yeah, you don't even have to see the movie now. You kind of get it. You know what the world that it's in.
Yeah.
It's fine. Wait for the miniseries now.
It'll be a much more digestible, easier to pick through.
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming on. This has been great. I really appreciate it. Do you guys want to plug your Twitter or anything?
No.
Okay.
Do you want to plug the super secret show you're working on? Is that cool?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Just trying to pry information
We got
out of
nothing.
you.
We're nobody.
This is not really a time we have anything to promote, depending on when you are putting this up in the world. We'll see if maybe Twitter comes back the way, by 2043. The way
I'm not banking on it.
Yeah, I think it'll be something else by then.
Yeah, I don't know. But thank you so much, Jen and Gordon. We really appreciate y'all
it's been great
hanging with us and talking about this absurd film.
Well, speaking of Twitter, Kyle.
Yeah.
Yes, Tom Today on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and patreon.com/YesTomToday.
Yeah. Follow us there. We're putting up content. I mean, as of right now of recording, we're not putting up content. But in the future, when we are putting up content, we are putting up content.
But not 2043.
No, not 2043.
Not that far.
We're talking like a couple months from now.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today.
You got it.
I'm Kyle McVeigh.
I'm Joey Reinish.
And thank you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.